If your Jeep Compass throws the warning saying service transmission, it may signal about overheating, low fluid level, internal damage, or just a software glitch. In most cases you will just need to let it cool down and then keep driving without any faults. But if you see a blinking transmission light, it makes sense to avoid further driving and call a tow truck, because the problem is most likely internal and you may damage the transmission if you keep driving. The Compass used several types of automatic transmissions, and depending on the type there may be various problems and different ways to solve them. You will not have a dipstick in the 9-speed ZF transmission or the 8-speed Hyundai transmission, so only if you have the front-wheel drive model made in 2022 with the 6-speed ICIN transmission, you can check the fluid level on the roadside easily. So your first option is to let the transmission cool down. Just turn off the car and leave it for at least 20 minutes. The fluid will cool down and you may try driving again. Overheating is considered common for the older 9-speed and new 8-speed transmissions when towing too much weight or driving in mountains. After the transmission cools down, it should work properly. But if the warning comes back soon after you start driving, it's not recommended to drive further, since the fatal transmission damage is possible. If you have the 6-speed automatic with the front-wheel drive 2022 model here, and you see this service transmission message from time to time, you may want to check the heat exchanger, also called transmission fluid cooler. It gets clogged quite often with the frictional plate material, and the transmission may start overheating from time to time. In the 9-speed ZF transmission that was used in all-wheel drive models up to 2023, the contaminated fluid is often the initial problem. It's a good idea to change fluid in these transmissions once every 35-40,000 miles to avoid valve body contamination. On average, these transmissions last up to 150,000 miles, and then there are issues with the valve body, TCU, and also shafts and gears, which makes it financially wise to just replace the unit. So if the mileage on your car is about 150k miles, it may require a pretty expensive repair. If it's the new 8-speed transmission in post-2023 vehicles, you will also need to change fluid very often to avoid friction material contamination. I would say fluid change once every 40,000 miles, and also very careful driving when the transmission is cold will take this unit to at least 200,000 miles without serious problems. But the friction plates are worn out very rapidly, so if you don't change fluid often, the waste will clog the valve body and you will see the service transmission warning quite often. So in the Jeep Compass, the problem is very often with very long service intervals that lead to valve body contamination. Also, all automatic transmissions tend to overheat during mountain driving or towing. If you manage to get the light off the dash just by letting the transmission cool down, consider yourself lucky. But if the light is flashing or getting back on dash soon after you start driving, the transmission will need professional inspection and repair.